Hey, what is up YouTube? It's Malorn here, and I am here with another great video for you guys today. Today we've got another Magnus Chase audiobook, and we are going to continue on chapter 33. Sam's brother wakes up kinda cranky. We're going to go through however many chapters we can before my mouth gets so dry that I cannot continue, which happens quite often actually, because I have a dry mouth problem. But beyond that, let's go ahead and continue. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. And I hope you guys aren't too shy to hit that subscribe button. Let me know that you are enjoying it. Go ahead and drop your opinion down in the comment and give this video a like. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Chapter 33, Sam's brother wakes up kinda cranky. When I say the serpent opened his eyes, I mean he switched on green spotlights the size of trampolines. His irises glowed so intensely I was pretty sure everything I saw for the rest of my life would be tinted the color of lime jello. The good news, the rest of my life didn't look like it was going to be very long. The monster's ridged forehead and tapered snout made him look more like an eel than a snake. His hide glistened in a camouflage patchwork of green, brown, and yellow. Here I am calmly describing him. At the time, the only thought in my mind was, "Yikes! Huge snake!" He opened his mouth and hissed. The stench of rancid bull's head and poison so strong my clothes smoked. He may not have used mouthwash, but obviously the world serpent cared about flossing. His pink maw was big enough to his teeth gleamed in rows of perfect white triangles. Sorry about that, guys. His pink maw was big enough to swallow Harold's boat and a dozen of Harold's closest friends' boats. My meat hook was embedded in the back of his mouth, right where the hangy down uvula thing would be in a human mouth. The serpent didn't seem too happy about that. He shook back and forth, raking the steel line across his teeth. My fishing pole whipped sideways. The boat seesawed port to starboard, planks cracking and popping, but somehow we stayed afloat. My line didn't break. "Sam," I said in a small voice, "why hasn't he killed us yet?" She pressed so close to me I could feel her shivering. "I think he's studying us, maybe even trying to talk to us." "What is he saying?" Sam gulped. "My guess? How dare you?" The serpent hissed, spitting globs of poison that sizzled against the deck. Behind us, Harold whimpered, "Drop the pole, you fools! You'll get us all killed!" I tried to meet the serpent's gaze. "Hey, Mr. Jormungand, can I call you Mr. J? Look, sorry to bother you. Nothing personal. We're just using you to get somebody's attention." Mr. J didn't like that. His head surged out of the water, towering above us, then crashed down off the bow, triggering a 40-foot-tall ring of waves. Sam and I were definitely sitting in the splash zone. I ate salt water for lunch. My lungs discovered they could not in fact breathe the stuff. My eyes got a thorough power washing, but incredibly the boat didn't capsize. When the rocking and sloshing subsided, I found myself still alive, still holding the fishing pole, with my line still attached to the world serpent's mouth. The monster stared at me like, "Why are you not dead?" Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the tsunami crash against the graves, washing all the way up to the base of the lighthouse. I wondered if I'd just flooded Boston. I remembered why Jormungand was called the World Serpent. Supposedly his body was so long it wrapped around the earth, stretching across the sea floor like a monstrous telecommunication table. Most of the time he kept his tail in his mouth. Hey, I used a pacifier until I was almost 2, so I can't judge. But apparently he decided our bull's head bait was worth the switch. And the point being, if the world serpent was shaking, the whole world might be shaking with him. "So," I said to nobody in particular, "what now?" "Magnus," Sam said in a strangled tone, "try not to panic, but look out the starboard side." I couldn't imagine what would be more panic-inducing than Mr. J until I saw a woman in the whirlpool. Compared to the serpent, she was tiny, only about 10 feet tall. From the waist up, she wore a blouse of silver chainmail encrusted with barnacles. She might have once been beautiful, but her pearlescent skin was withered, Her seaweed green eyes were milky with cataracts, and her rippling blonde hair was shot through with gray like blight in a wheat field. From the waist down, things got weird. Spinning around her like a dancer's skirt, a water spout swirled within a silver fishing net 100 yards in diameter. Trapped in its weave was a kaleidoscope of ice floe, dead fish, plastic garbage bags, car tires, grocery carts, and other assorted flotsam. As the woman floated towards us, the edge of her net thwapped against our hull and scraped against the world serpent's neck. She spoke in a deep baritone. "Who dares interrupt my scavenging?" Harold the Frost Giant screamed. He was a champion screamer. He scrambled to the bow and threw a bunch of gold coins over the side. Then he returned to Sam. "Quick, girl, your payment to me. Give it to Rand." Sam frowned, but she tossed another 5 coins overboard. Instead of sinking, the red gold swirled into Rand's net and joined the floating merry-go-round of debris. "Oh, great Rand," Harold wailed. "Please don't kill me. Here, take my anchor. Take these humans. You can even have my lunchbox." "Silence!" The goddess shooed away the frost giant, who did his best to cower, grovel, and retreat all at the same time. "I'll just be below decks," he sobbed, praying. Rand regarded me as if deciding whether I was large enough to fillet. "Release Jormungand, mortal. The last thing I need today is a world flooding event." The world serpent hissed in agreement. Rand turned on him. "And you shut up, you overgrown moray. All your writhing is stirring up the silt. I can't see a thing down there. How many times have I told you not to bite at any old rancid bull's head?" Rancid bull's head. Rancid bull's heads are not native to these waters. The world serpent snarled petulantly, tugging at the steel cable in his mouth. "Oh, great Rand," I said. "I am Magnus Chase. This is Sam Alabas. We've come to bargain with you. Also, just wondering, why can't you cut the fishing line yourself?" Rand let loose a torrent of Norse curses that literally steamed in the air. Now that she was closer, I could see stranger things swirling in her net. Ghostly bearded faces, gasping and terrified as they tried to reach the surface, hands clawing at the ropes. "Worthless, Einarharji," said this goddess. "You know full well what you have done." "I do?" I asked. "You are Veneer's spawn, a child of Njord." Rand sniffed the air. "No, your scent is fainter. Perhaps a grandchild." Sam's eyes widened. "Right! Magnus, you're the son of Frey, son of Njord. God of ships, sailors, and fishermen. That's why our boat didn't capsize. That's why you were able to catch the serpent." She looked at Rand. Which of course we already knew. Rand snarled. "Once brought to the surface, the world serpent is not simply bound by your fishing line. He is connected to you by fate. You must now decide, and quickly, whether to cut him loose and return him to his slumber, or let him fully awaken and destroy your world." In the back of my neck, something snapped like a rusty spring. Probably the last bit of my courage. I looked at the world serpent. For the first time, I noticed that his glowing green peepers were covered by thin, translucent membrane, a second set of eyelids. "You mean he is only partially awake?" "If he were fully awake," said the goddess, "your entire eastern seaboard would already be underwater." I had to resist the urge to throw away the fishing pole, undo my safety harness, and run around the deck screaming like a little hero. "I will release him," I said. "But first, great Rand, you have to promise to negotiate with us in good faith. We want to barter." "Barter with you?" Rand's skirt swirled faster. Ice and plastic crackled. Shopping carts plowed into one another. "By rights, Magnus Chase, you should belong to me. You died of drowning. Drowned souls are my property." "Actually," Sam said, "he died in combat, so he belongs to Odin." "Technicalities," Rand snapped. The faces in Rand's net gaped and gasped, pleading for help. Sam had told me, "There are worse places to spend your afterlife in than Valhalla." Imagining myself tangled in that silvery web, I was suddenly grateful to my Valkyrie. Well, okay then, I said. I guess I can just let Mr. J wake up fully. I didn't have any plans for tonight. No, Rand hissed. Do you have any idea how hard it is to scavenge along the seafloor when Jormungand gets agitated? Let him go. And you promise to negotiate in good faith? I asked. Yes, fine. I am in no mood for Ragnarok today. Say, by my troth, I am a goddess. I know better than to swear by my troth. I glanced at Sam, who shrugged. She handed me her axe, and I cut the fishing line. Jormungand sank beneath the waves, glaring at me through a bubbling green cloud of poison as he descended, as if to say, next time, little mortal. Rand's swirling skirts slowed to the speed of a tropical storm. Very well, Einarharji. I promise to barter in good faith. What do you want? The Sword of Summer, I said. I had it with me when I hit the Charles River. Rand's eyes glistened. Oh yes, I could give you the sword, but in exchange, I want something valuable. I'm thinking your soul. Chapter 34. My sword almost ends up on eBay. I'm thinking not, I replied. Rand made a rumbling sound like a wail with heartburn. You, the grandson of that meddler Njord, come here asking to barter, disturbing the world serpent, interrupting my scavenging, and you won't even agree to a reasonable offer. The Sword of Summer is the greatest artifact to come into my nets in ages. Your soul is a small price to pay in exchange. Lady Rand? Sam took back her axe and slipped down from the fishing chair. Magnus has already been claimed by Odin. He is Einarharji. That cannot be changed. Besides, I said, you don't want my soul. It's really small. I don't use it much. I doubt it even works anymore. The goddess's watery skirts swirled. Trapped souls clawed for the surface. Plastic garbage bags popped like bubble wrap. The smell of dead fish almost made me nostalgic for the bull's head. What do you offer me, then? Rand demanded. What could possibly be worth that sword? Good question, I thought. I stared into the goddess's nets, and an idea began to form. You said you were scavenging, I recalled. What for? The goddess's expression softened. Her eyes shone a greedier shade of green. Many things. Coins, souls, lost valuables of every description. Just before you woke up the serpent, I had my eye on a Chevy Malibu radial hubcap that was worth $40 easy, just sitting there at the bottom of the harbor. But now, she threw up her hands, gone. You collect stuff, I corrected myself. I mean, wonderful treasures. Sam squinted at me, clearly wondering if I'd lost my mind, but I was starting to understand what made Rand tick, what she cared about most. The goddess stretched her fingers toward the horizon. Have you heard of the Pacific Garbage Patch? I have, Lady Rand, Sam said. It's a floating collection of rubbish the size of Texas. It sounds terrible. It is amazing, said the goddess. The first time I saw it, I was overwhelmed. It put my own collection to shame. For centuries, all shipwrecks of the northern seas have been mine to claim. Anything lost in the depths comes to me. But when I saw the wonders of the garbage patch, I realized how puny my efforts had been. Ever since, I've spent all my time scavenging the seafloor looking for additions to my net. I would not have found your sword if I hadn't been so quick. I nodded with sympathy. Now I could fit this Norse goddess into the Magnus Chase worldview. Rand was a bag lady. I could work with a bag lady. I peered overboard at the floating junk. A silver teaspoon balanced on an island of styrofoam. A bicycle wheel spun past, shredding the ghostly head of a lost soul. Lady Rand, I said, your husband, Aegir, is the lord of the sea, right? You share a golden palace with him at the bottom of the ocean. The goddess scowled. What is your point? Well, what does your husband think of your collection? Aegir, Rand spat, the great stirrer of sea storms. So many S's. These days, the only thing he wants to do is brew his mead. He's always been a brewer, but lately it's ridiculous. He spends all his time at the hop shop or going on brewery tours with his buddies. And don't get me started on the flannel shirt, rolled up skinny jeans, glasses, and the way he trims his beard. He's always been talking about microbrews. He has a cauldron a mile wide. How can he microbrew? Right, I said. That must be annoying. He doesn't appreciate how important your treasures are. He has his lifestyle, Rand said. I have mine. Sam looked bewildered, but all of this made total sense to me. I knew a bag lady in Charleston whose husband had left her a $6 million mansion on Beacon Hill, but sitting at home alone had made her feel suffocated, lonely, and unhappy. So instead, she lived out on the streets, pushing her shopping cart, collecting plastic lawn ornaments and aluminum cans. That made her feel complete. Rand frowned. What were we talking about again? The Sword of Summer, I said, and what I could offer you in return. Yes. What I'm offering, I said, is to let you keep your collection. Frost spread down the ropes of the net. Rand's tone turned dangerous. Are you threatening to take my stuff? Oh no, I would never do that. I understand how valuable. Because this whirling plastic sunflower ornament right here, they don't make these anymore. It's easily worth $10. Right. But if you don't give me the Sword of Summer, Cert and his fire giants will come looking for it, and they won't show you such respect. Rand scoffed. The sons of Muspel cannot touch me. My realm is deadly to them. But Cert has many allies, Sam said, picking up on the idea. They would annoy you, harass you, take your treasures. They'll do anything to retrieve that sword. Once they have it, they'll start Ragnarok. Then there will be no more scavenging. The oceans will boil, and your collection will be destroyed. No! Shrieked the goddess. Yes, I said, but if you give us the sword, Cert won't have any reason to bother you. We'll keep it safe. Rand scowled at her net, studying the patterns of glittering trash. And how, son of Frey, will the sword be safer with you than with me? You cannot return it to your father. Frey gave up his rights to use the weapon when he gifted it to Skirnir. For the millionth time, I wanted to find my frolicking summer god dad and smack him. Why had he given away his weapon in the first place? For love? Weren't gods supposed to be smarter than that? Then again, Rand collected hubcaps and Aegir was in the microbrewing. I'll wield it myself, I said, or I'll take it to Valhalla for safekeeping. In other words, you don't know. The goddess arched her kelpie eyebrows at Sam. And you, daughter of Loki, why are you siding with the gods of Asgard? Your father is no friend of theirs. Not anymore. I'm not my father, Sam said. I was a Valkyrie. Ah yes, the girl who dreamed of flying, but the Thanes of Valhalla expelled you. Why do you still try to earn their favor? You don't need them to fly. You know very well with your father's blood. Give us the sword, Lady Ran. Sim's voice hardened. It's the only way to delay Ragnarok. The goddess smiled sourly. You even sound like Loki. He was such a persuasive speaker. One moment flattering, the next moment threatening. Once, he actually convinced me to lend him my net. That led to all sorts of trouble. Loki figured out the secrets of net weaving. The gods learned how, then the humans. Pretty soon everyone had nets. My trademark item. I won't be so easily convinced again. I'll keep the sword and take my chances with Cert. I unstrapped myself from the fishing chair. I moved to the tip of the bow and locked eyes with the goddess. I didn't normally shake down bag ladies, but I had to make Rand take me seriously. I lifted the chain from my belt. The silver links glinted in the fading light. This chain is also a sword, I said. An authentic blade from Valhalla. How many of those do you have in your net? Rand started to reach for the chain, then caught herself. Yes. I can see the sword through the glamour, but why would I trade? A new sword for an old one? I offered. This blade is shinier, only used once in combat. You could get $20 for it, no problem. The Sword of Summer, however, has no resale value. True, but the other option, I said, is I take the Sword of Summer. It belongs to me. Rand growled. Her fingernails stretched into jagged points like shark's teeth. You dare threaten me, mortal? Just telling the truth, I said, trying to stay calm. I can sense the sword within your nets. Total lie. I pulled it from the depths once before. I can do it again. The sword is the sharpest weapon in the 9 worlds. Do you really want it cutting through your net, spilling all your stuff, and freeing all those trapped souls? If they got away, do you think they'd fight for you or against you? Her gaze wavered. You would not dare. Trade me a sword for a sword, I said, and throw in one of Iden's apples for our trouble. Ran hissed. You said nothing about an apple. That's an easy request, I said. I know you've got an extra apple of immortality swirling around in there somewhere. Then we'll go in peace. We'll stop Ragnarok and let you go back to your scavenging. Otherwise, I shrugged, you'll find out what the son of Frey can do with his father's sword. I was pretty sure the goddess would laugh in my face, capsize the boat, and add our drowned souls to her collection, but I stared her down like I had nothing to lose. After a count of 20, long enough for a bead of sweat to trickle down my neck and freeze at my collar, Rand snarled. Very well. She flicked her hand. The sword of summer came flying out of the water and landed in my grip. Immediately it began to hum, agitating every molecule in my body. I tossed my chain overboard. Now the apple. A piece of fruit shot out from the net. It would have beamed Sam between the eyes if not for her fast reflexes. The apple didn't look like much, just a shriveled golden delicious, but Sam held it gingerly as if it were radioactive. She slipped it into her coat pocket. Go now, as you promised, Rand said. But I tell you this, son of Frey. Your high-handed bargaining will cost you dearly. You have made an enemy of Rand. My husband, Aegir, Lord of the Waves, will also hear about this, if I can ever get him out of the hop shop. For your sake, I hope you're not planning any more sea voyages. Next time your kinship with Njord will not save you. Cross my waters again, and I will personally drag your soul to the bottom. Well, I said, that's something to look forward to. Rand spun, her form blurred into a misty funnel cloud, her nets wrapping around her like a twirled spaghetti. She shrank into the depths and was gone. Sam shuddered. That was interesting. Behind us a ladder creaked. Harold's head popped up from below. Interesting? He demanded. Did you say it was interesting? He climbed out, glowering at us, his fists balled, his icy blue beard dripping. World serpent fishing, that's one thing. But antagonizing Rand, I never would have taken you aboard if I had known, no matter what Big Boy said. I have to make a living on the ocean. I should throw you overboard. I'll double your price, Sam said. 10 red gold. Just get us back to the dock. Harold blinked. Okay. He headed for the wheelhouse. I studied the Sword of Summer. Sorry about that. Now that I had it, I wasn't sure what to do with it. The steel glowed with its own light, silvery runes burning along the flat of the blade. The sword radiated warmth, heating the air around me, melting the frost on the railings, filling me with the same sense of quiet power I had felt when I healed someone. It wasn't so much like holding a weapon, more like holding open a door to a different time, walking with my mom in the blue hills, feeling the sunlight on my face. Sam reached over. Still wearing her oversized leather gloves, she brushed a tear from my cheek. I hadn't realized I was crying. Sorry, I said, my voice hoarse. Sam studied me with concern. Could you have really summoned the sword from Rand? I don't know. In that case, you're insane, but I'm impressed. I lowered the blade. It kept humming as if trying to tell me something. What did Rand mean? I asked. She said you didn't need to be a Valkyrie to fly. Something about your father's blood. Sam's expression closed up faster than Rand's net. It's not important. You sure about that? She hung her axe on her belt. She looked everywhere but my eyes. As sure as you could summon that sword. The outboard engines rumbled. The ship began to turn. I'll be at the wheel with Harold, Sam said, apparently anxious to put some distance between us. I'll make sure he takes us to Boston and not Jotunheim. Alright guys, that is chapter 33 and 34 of Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a really good, 2 really good chapters. I really loved them. Especially that second one, that was pretty neat. That got intense. Woo! Intense. Anyways, set this over here for a sec. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, be sure to comment, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you did enjoy. All of my future audiobooks, and I've said this in my last 2 audiobook videos, will be on my audiobook channel. It's Malorn's Audiobooks. Yeah, if you're watching this and you know anyone who also watches my audiobook videos, be sure to let them know that. I'm trying to kind of get the word out. That way there's no confusion as to where my future audiobooks are. They are on this channel, Malorn's Audiobooks. Be sure to let anyone you know who watches my audiobooks, be sure to let them know that they are on this channel, alright? I previously had them on my Hangout with Malorn channel, but it was getting ridiculously crowded. You know, I have a whole bunch of gameplays, vlogs, and drink reviews and stuff like that on there, so I'm trying to kind of divvy it up so it doesn't just become an absolute mess. Alright. Like I said, I hope you guys have a nice evening, day, night, morning, whatever. And peace out. Wait. There we go. Double thumbs up. Yeah.